Ethereum down over 30%, Bitcoin down over 40%. Who are you gonna call when those things are dropping? You're gonna call your mama? Because there's no one that can help you at this point because you've already made bad trades. A stop loss isn't gonna help you in these volatile markets. So again, we have to be intelligent about this. We have to think about our philosophies before we go randomly buy coins out there. And that's what I see all of you newbies doing. I'm gonna buy some Doge, I'm gonna buy some Titan, I'm gonna buy some this, and guess what? You just lost all your money. I've got diamond hands. Well, congratulations, you're also broke with your diamond hands. So we don't play that inside the DeFi Academy. We teach you discipline, trading philosophies that are not based on emotion. I just want you to get involved, feel what it's like, because you're not gonna understand an instrument until you feel the pain of a loss and you feel the euphoria of a gain. That's something that you can't teach. The truth is, Nikki, you already have positions. You just don't know it. Your money is being managed by a pension fund, or your future payments are being managed by a government. There's all sorts of risk in your life. You're just not managing it. Someone else is, and you take the hits because of it. Well, this is your moment. So pitch me. Go to that forum. Tell me what you got. Come on to the inside. Find out what's really going in this space. Learn from the insiders. Build for the long-term infrastructure of the future, and let's do something good. Let's give financial freedom back to the billions of people that need it. This is the choice you have right now. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? Welcome to DeFi Real. My name is Brian Rose. I'm the founder and host of London Real. This is our brand new program dedicated to everything known as DeFi or decentralized finance. This is a $9 trillion a year marketplace, and I couldn't be more excited. Here, I will teach you how to profit from what I'm calling the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. It's all happening, and you need to get educated very quick. Today's show, I want to specifically talk about this, and pay attention. How to trade crypto options and DeFi synthetics, how to master volatility and maximize your profit. And today I'm going to be going back to the old days. I started doing this 30 years ago, and I'm going to tell you some old school stories about me trading derivatives and what you can learn from that. Or, as I like to say, how to trade like Gordon Gekko. And today I'm going to teach you these three things. First of all, what are derivatives and why do they matter? Second, I'm going to show you how to price and trade options on crypto and DeFi. And third, I'm going to explain how to understand DeFi synthetics. We've all heard of them, but do you really know what they are? And do you understand the risks involved with synthetics, the liquidity issues, etc.? I'm going to go through this today. And look, we've all seen the news lately. Crypto's crashing. Crypto's back up. Is Bitcoin going to break through 40,000? Who knows? Is it going to drop down below 30,000? Who knows? Is it going to go sideways? You hear all of these things happening out there. And what I see is a lot of people that have no idea what they're doing. Right? And that's why I see people taking a bath on their cryptos. They're taking massive losses because basically they're sheep. And as Gordon Gekko used to say in the movie Wall Street, sheep get slaughtered. And Gekko also said, the public is out there throwing darts at a board. And he's talking about you newbie traders. Gekko said, I don't throw darts at a board. I bet on sure things. And he went on to quote Sun Tzu, The Art of War, every battle is won before it's ever fought. Think about that. And that's the way we trade here inside the DeFi Academy. We try to win those battles before they're fought with the way we think, with our stop loss orders, with our strategies. And that's what I want to talk about today. Everything that I learned over the past 30 years is real and it works. And I've done this on Wall Street. I've done this in Chicago. I've done this in London, and I'm going to share it with some stories with you as well. So look, a little back down memory lane. I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I graduated from MIT in 1993, I was fresh, 22 years old, and I packed all of my stuff. I didn't have much, like a futon, and I drove in a van from Boston to New York City. It's a 4-hour drive. And I came in, and I moved into New York City, and I started working at a company called Bankers Trust. And it was down by the World Trade Center. I'd take the subway into the World Trade Center. This is before it came down. I'd go across the street up to the 33rd floor. I can still see it in my eyes. The Statue of Liberty was out one side. The World Trade Center was directly across the street on the other side. And I remember the first day they sat me down at the desk, 22 years old, they gave me 2 phones and they said, guess what? This one goes to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, by the way, where they trade Bitcoin futures now. This one goes to Chicago Board of Trade. This box in front of you is a squawk box down to your trader about 100 feet away who trades all U.S. treasuries, 2-year treasury note, 10-year treasury note, up to the 30-year government bond. and you're going to trade right now. And I was like, me right now? I don't have any training. They said trade. And they basically put me on the US dollar swap book. It's a fixed floating dollar swap book. Again, it's a derivatives book. We probably had $1 trillion at risk on there, and I started trading. Now, later I would go on to trade options and derivatives on the constant maturity treasury desk, which was right next to us. But I started off on the fixed floating desk, and I used to trade boatloads of futures contracts on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the Chicago Board of Trade. Now, this is relevant today because the same Bitcoin futures trade on those same exchanges. And I was trading tons of Eurodollar contracts, billions of dollars of US Treasuries over that time. In fact, we did so much volume that our brokers in Chicago would fly out once a month just to take our entire desk out on the town in New York City. And they used to take us to the fanciest restaurants, 20 of us, right? And we would just get up and do a lot of nonsense. We'd pay way too much money. We'd buy bottles of wine. It would cost over $1,000 each. And then after that, we'd find ourselves in some club or some craziness that was going on. And that's how we would roll. And if you ever seen the movie Hustlers with J-Lo, you'll see some of the things that we would get up to. And I'd wake up the next morning at like 6 a.m. with a bunch of funny money in my pocket. And then at 7 a.m., we were back on the trading floor and doing it all over again. And this was the life I grew up on. And I learned the hard way on how to price these derivatives, how to trade, how to take your stop losses, and how to take your profits as well. And I want to try to share with you some of those lessons I learned today. But I think a lot of it goes back to what we see in Wall Street. And I'm going to play a couple more clips today because I love this movie. The reason I love this movie is because it's so accurate. The people, the way they talk, their phrases, their philosophies, it's all real. And you can see great behavior and great trading and bad behavior and bad trading in that movie. And I want to show you a few clips today. And again, here's another picture of Gordon Gekko embracing the latest technology of his time. Here is him on his high-tech mobile phone device out at his house in the Hamptons, and he's waking up Bud Fox at 6 a.m. in New York City, and he's saying, it's time for you to go to work, Bud. And, Gekko loved technology. He loved the little mini television that he had in the movie, and I know that Gekko right now would be trading crypto. He'd be investing in DeFi. He'd probably already have joined my academy. And I know Gekko would also be ripping their throats out. That's what he did with these markets because he knows how to trade these things. And I want to try to show you some of those trading principles today as well. And look, we already know that Forbes magazine recently said, quote, this will shift the structure of the whole financial system at a macroeconomic level. That's what they're talking about with DeFi. And the truth is this, and this is what I have to say, and you'll probably see this slide coming up on the screen. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, is already revolutionizing the world of finance. You just don't know it yet. Look, this incredible marketplace is growing at breakneck speed. It's going to generate trillions of dollars of opportunities, and it's going to give financial freedom back to the 6 billion people in this world who don't have real access to the financial markets. It's a travesty. It's a violation of human rights, and we're not going to stand for it here at London Real or inside the DeFi Academy. And so we're going to invest in this financial structure of the future. Before we get started, what I want to say is what you're about to see today is education. It is not financial advice. Let's talk about the markets in crypto these days. They are volatile. There are crazy news stories happening. Let me tell you about something that happened here today, and you'll see the headline here on the screen. We saw the Iron Finance Titan token fall to near zero in DeFi panic selling. And wherever you're watching right now, type in yes if you saw this article this week. Also type in, did you have any of these Titan tokens? We saw the Titan token go from 65 bucks down to basically zero. It's like 0.00003 cents. We saw $1.5 billion worth of market cap disappear in a matter of hours. Everyone's licking their wounds. Everyone's saying what happened. The founder said, oh, it was a trading vortex and a positive feedback loop. Okay, cool. But it meant everybody lost all of their money. Now, they were trying to create a stable coin, and I appreciate that. We like stable coins. I teach stable coins inside my academy. But this is another example that this is still untested technology. And if you're not careful with where you invest, if you don't have a trusted advisor, a source of advice, a source of mentorship, then you're going to take a bath in these markets. And this is not a joke. This is real money. It's your financial future, and it's going out the window unless you're making intelligent decisions. But of course, what happened yesterday is nothing compared to Black Thursday. And I'm talking about March 12th of last year in 2020, when we saw this crash that you can see on screen. Ethereum down over 30%, Bitcoin down over 40%. Who are you going to call when those things are dropping? You're going to call your mama? Because there's no one that can help you at this point because you've already made bad trades. A stop loss isn't going to help you in these volatile markets. So again, we have to be intelligent about this. We have to think about our philosophies before we go randomly buy coins out there. And that's what I see all of you newbies doing. I'm going to buy some Doge. I'm going to buy some Titan. I'm going to buy some this. And guess what? You just lost all your money. I've got diamond hands. Well, congratulations. You're also broke with your diamond hands. So we don't play that inside the DeFi Academy. We teach you discipline, trading philosophies that are not based on emotion. And I want to go to this clip right here because this is Gordon Gekko talking to Bud Fox. I think it's at the Penn Club in New York City. I used to play squash there back in the day. And he's explaining to Bud how he trades the markets and how he continually wins. Here's Gekko.
Public's out there throwing darts at a board sport. I don't throw darts at a board. I bet on sure things. Read Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Every battle is won before it's ever fought. Think about it. You're not as smart as I thought you were, buddy boy. You ever wonder why fund managers can't beat the S&P 500? Because they're sheep. And sheep get slaughtered. I've been in this business since '69. Most of these Harvard MBA types, they don't add up to dog shit. Give me guys that are poor, smart, and hungry, and no feelings. You win a few, you lose a few, but you keep on fighting. And if you need a friend, get a dog. It's trench warfare out there, pal. Hey, Georgie.
Hey, Gordon.
How's Larchmont treating you?
Fine.
How's the Praxor deal going? Oh, you should know, pal.
Asshole.
And inside here, too. I got 20 other brokers analyzing charts, pal. I don't need another one. See you around, buddy.
And again, Gekko said it best. Sheep get slaughtered. And that's what we see out there. People throwing their markets, poor trading strategies, which adds to the volatility of this crypto space, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. It's a good thing for us because we have principles and discipline. And here's a quote that I like to say, and you can think about this and meditate this on the day, and that's this. This is trading. It's not Netflix. Don't do it for entertainment or for the rush, which results in emotional decision-making. Stay disciplined and put in non-negotiable stop-loss orders to create long-term success. That's what I'm talking about. That's how we make it to the big time, and that's what I go through inside my DeFi Academy, and I'm going to talk about this today. So let's get into today. 3 principles of how to trade the markets today. I'm going to talk about these instruments, which are crucial to the future. They're being traded right now, but the volume's going to skyrocket. And there's also going to be a lot of tears and a lot of blood on the streets unless you know how to trade this. So first, I want to talk about what are derivatives, right? I'm going to go through what you see on the screen here, and I'm going to explain, a derivative is something that derives its value from an underlying asset, right? Very important there. We're going to talk about how the price of the derivative changes as the underlying asset changes. And again, it's very clear to understand that a derivative is not a product, it's a contract. For example, a gold future contract is not gold. It's a contract between 2 people based on the value of gold. And I'll come more back to that shortly. And again, I cut my teeth on Wall Street trading derivatives. I think one of the first trades I made was a derivatives trade, a futures contract on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And I went on to create some of the most complex and exotic derivatives of the time in the 90s in Wall Street. I understand these at a fundamental level, and most people don't. And I'm telling you, when bad things happen, like we saw yesterday with Titan, everyone's going to be saying, where's my asset? Well, you don't have an asset. You have a contract with someone who doesn't exist. And guess what that's worth? That's worth 0, baby. So we got to really talk about that. On the same point, derivatives aren't evil and they're not bad. They were blamed for the 2008 crash in the housing. That's not true. That was poor risk management. And I want to talk about that today. Derivatives have been around for thousands of years. You just haven't called them derivatives, and we'll get into that today. Next, I want to talk about how to trade crypto options. What you're going to see here right now is a screenshot I grabbed less than an hour ago, all right? These are my notes on this screen. These are real Bitcoin options that are expiring, and you can see on the screen in 1 day and about 22 hours from now. Those are call options and put options. I know to most people, this would complicate things. This would probably fry your brain, and you would say, this is too complicated for me. But I'm going to show you how you can master calls and puts and basic options on Bitcoin and Ethereum. And by the way, these things are trading at the Mercantile Exchange. I can't believe it. This is where I used to trade all of my futures on Eurodollars, etc. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to explain options, premiums, strike prices, expiration dates, and the basic philosophy of a call option and a put option. I'm getting excited. Lastly, I want to talk about synthetic assets in crypto. We've all heard of them, but there's all sorts of synthetic assets in crypto, and I'm going to go into synthetic equities, synthetic commodities, synthetic foreign exchange. There's all sorts of stuff. There's weather derivatives. There's anything you can put into a synthetic. We have to understand the risks of that. There are collateral issues, there's counterparty issues, there's regulation issues, and we're going to go into that as well. So again, it's going to be a great packed show today. Make sure you pay attention. But before we get started, I've gotten so many emails and so many questions on social from people all about the world. They keep saying, Brian, what's going on? I love the videos you're dropping lately, but what's happening inside this DeFi Academy? There's no place in the world that's teaching this stuff, and nobody with your years of experience or broadcasting experience. What's going on with the DeFi Academy? Well, if you go and check out our academy, and you'll probably see this, what it looks like. This is our front page, and the proposition is this. If you join me, I'm going to teach you how to profit from the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. I'm looking for a small select group of people who want to become part of and actively participate in the upcoming DeFi revolution. I'm looking for serious individuals only who want to help build this exciting financial infrastructure of the future. I'm looking for partners. I'm looking for collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me and create real value for the end user and simultaneously generate generational wealth for yourself. They can be done simultaneously. Our first live course is the DeFi Accelerator. It's the keys to unlocking a $9 trillion marketplace, and we're starting that course in days from now. We have a limited number of spaces available. It's an application-only basis. I have to approve your application and admit you to the course. It's 4 modules, 8 hours of live calls with me, and the course is 4 weeks long. The first call is days away. And again, it's personal coaching by me. It's exclusive access to my online e-learning platform. That's videos, workbooks, feedback forms. I've got over 10 of my team that's going to be working with you as team leaders, lead instructors, community managers, and me, all making sure we work with you every single day to get you up the curve. You've got my triple-tiered accountability system I've used for over 6 years. And you've got dedicated coaches, team leaders that are going to work with you every single day, and a private Facebook group where we exchange videos and ideas. It's amazing. I just heard the gong go off in our studio, which means some lucky member of the public out there, one of the 8 billion people of the world, has just joined my DeFi Academy. I'll get their name coming shortly. I appreciate you. Get everything ready. I just dropped module 1. Get in that e-learning platform. Watch the videos. I need to see your videos. I need to see your workbooks before we can go to the next level. This is a high touch point experience. And like I said, we're running out of time. I think we literally have 2 days left before the first call starts. We have been inundated with applications around the world. Thousands of people want to get in on this. I've never seen anything like this before. And I've been doing this for 10 years. I've never seen so much interest for a product like ours inside the DeFi Academy. And we are so excited for a small group of people that are going to join us. If you receive this in your email, and I'm going to give you a screenshot, that means your life is about to change, because what you're looking about is you being accepted in the DeFi Academy. It says your application to be part of the DeFi Academy has been accepted. It says enroll today to be part of this elite team. So someone just did it. We hit the gong when someone joins our elite team, and I couldn't be more excited. If you're one of these people that wants to change the future, that wants my mentorship, that wants a trusted source of information, that wants to give financial freedom back to the 6 billion people in the world and give them their human rights back, and at the same time create real value and generational wealth, well, click the link or go to londonreal.tv/DeFi, DEFI. Submit your application. Sell me on why you should be on this course. What do you bring to the table? Education? Do you bring enthusiasm? That might do it. Do you bring connections? What do you bring? But apply and send it to me. I will make those decisions right after I'm on this call, and I'll accept you if you're worthy. One thing I want to be clear up right now, this academy is not for everyone. And I want to tell you who it's not for, and you'll see this on screen. The DeFi Academy is not for crypto day traders. Please go somewhere else. 95% of you will lose money. Please lose your money somewhere else. I don't like the energy. Second of all, this is not for people looking to get rich quick. Please go somewhere else. It's the crypto space. There's tons of places to go get rich, but go somewhere else. I'm too old to be around that energy or to have those kind of ideas. Third, this is not for meme coin fans and forum trolls. Please go somewhere else if that's all you want to do is talk about coins and make fun of coins all day. I'm looking for serious players only. This is not also for blockchain fanboys and crypto academics. I know you love pondering the beauty of Ethereum 2.0. Go somewhere else. I'm looking for people that pull the trigger, that put trades on, that get into the arena. Yep, we're going to take some losses, but we're going to have some big wins as well. And that's who I'm looking for in my academy. So I couldn't be more excited. To be very clear, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is for people that want to invest in the long-term infrastructure of DeFi. I'm going all in on this space for the next 10 years, and I'm looking for people to partner with me for that entire time. And I couldn't be more excited. We're closing this course out literally in days. If you want to join, go to londonreal.tv/DeFi, DEFI. You will not have this option available very soon. So make it happen now and sell me as well. All right, let's get into this episode. I couldn't be more excited to talk about derivatives. Before we go, I want questions from you, whatever platform you're on, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom. If you're on Zoom here, our in-studio audience, we got a bunch of people. Wave to me if you're on Zoom. Just wave to me. These are people we brought here into the studio with us that are on Zoom. If you're on Zoom, you get priorities to ask me questions, and we appreciate everybody there. You can see them waving to you, so thank you all. I want you to answer these questions right now. First of all, tell me, how do you rank yourself as a trader from 1 to 10? 10 being gecko, 1 being a newbie. And what is your single biggest challenge as a trader? 2, do you struggle with poor discipline, and do you get emotional about trading? If so, how? And be honest. I'll share with you the story of when I lost $50,000 when I was 22 years old in about 40 seconds. I'll share with you my big first screw up today. Third, have you ever traded crypto or DeFi options, and how did it work out for you? What did you experience? What did you learn? I want to know that. And fourth, what questions do you have about DeFi? And would you like to learn from me how to profit from the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history? So put those questions in right now. Let me get into part 1 of this broadcast. And that's the simple question: what are derivatives? Everybody wants to know this. Well, you'll see this on screen right now. And let me explain. A derivative is a financial instrument whose value is derived, you see the root word, from the value of another asset, which is known as the underlying. When the price of the underlying changes, the value of the derivative also changes. To be clear, the derivative is not a product. It's a contract between two parties that derives its value from the changes of price in the underlying. For example, the value of a gold futures contract is derived from the value of the underlying asset gold, but it's not gold itself. All right? That's a very good explanation of what a derivative is. Now, let me just continue on from that gold futures issue. You know, I'm good friends with Max Kaiser. I'm good friends with Tika Tawari. I'm good friends with Peter Schiff, a lot of guys that have been talking about owning gold for the last 10 years. And when I really talk to them off camera, and this is the kind of thing I'm going to talk about inside the DeFi Market Wizards and inside my Kings of DeFi inner circle. When they're off camera, they say, Brian, I don't hold gold futures. I hold the physical gold itself in a safe, or at least in a safe where I know the gold is at. That's because I want to hold the asset. I don't trust an exchange. I don't trust a counterparty. That way I actually own the asset. When I speak to my good friend Robert Kiyosaki, he says, Brian, I don't own real estate futures. I own the real estate itself. I've got the deed in my safe. I know where the house is. It's there. It's mine. This is the underlying asset. Now, a derivative is something that's based on that underlying asset. Examples of derivatives are this: futures contracts, traded on the Mercantile Exchange and the Chicago Board of Trade. Options contracts, swaps, insurance, ETFs, exchange-traded forwards, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Now, let me tell you something about derivatives, because I got a lot of flack about derivatives in the 90s and the 2000s because I worked in derivatives. I started trading fixed income derivatives. Then I worked onto treasury derivatives. When I was in London, I did credit derivatives. That's what I did here for most of my career, 11 years. We made a boatload of money. I even did indexes on credit derivatives, which is a derivative of a derivative. We can get into that too. There is nothing wrong with derivatives. They get thrown down they get sold down the river when financial crashes happen. Financial crashes don't happen because of derivatives. Forwards and futures contracts have existed for hundreds of years, if not thousands. What happens is when people risk manage poorly, that's when things go wrong. And it's going to continue to happen over and over again. And so again, don't be scared of the derivative itself. Understand the derivative, understand your risk profile, and you're always going to work from there. And let me give you a few examples of derivatives you might not even think about. A dinner reservation is a derivative. So back when I was in the city, in London, I used to take my clients out to the best restaurants in London. One of the favorites they wanted to go to was they always wanted to go to Nobu. Okay, Nobu was the famous Japanese place. Nobu Barclay was the happening one where all the guys wanted to go. So they, Brian, I want to go to Nobu on Saturday. Can you get me there? I'd be like, I don't even think I can get a reservation for that. You kidding me? There's like a book for a month. And they'd be like, all right, fine, I'll go with someone else. I'll do my business somewhere else. So I would always make sure I had reservations at these restaurants. Now, a reservation is a call option to go to a nice place for dinner, which means if I have that reservation, if I choose to exercise it and show up, I've got a beautiful dinner at a happening spot. Sure, I pay for dinner, but I can actually get in. Now, if we decide to go somewhere else, my call option on the dinner just expires, worthless, because I never actually showed up for dinner. Now, you might say, but Brian, reservations are free. You know, a lot of these restaurants in London started getting aware that there was a value in just having the reservation, and they started charging. So I'd have to pay £100, £500 just to get the reservation because they knew I might walk away and it had real value to it. So again, derivatives are all around us. We just don't see them as derivatives sometimes. So again, a dinner reservation is a call option to go there and exercise the right to pay for a meal. And again, they have real value, but we never think of it this way. Here's another derivative you might not have thought of. Now, I don't know if you have kids. I have young kids. They're going to be old soon. And there's always a derivative instrument between parents and children that's not spoken of. And here's what it is. When my children get to be 30 years old and say they go out and things go all wrong in their life and they're broke and they're going to go move out on the streets, they can always call up mom and dad and say, can I move home? All right. This is what I call being short a put option. All right. So the kids all have the put option and they know if push comes to shove, they can always go home and live with mom. Now, I personally don't want my kids to come back and move with me. It's a horrible thing. It's going to take up space. It's going to probably mess their lives up even more. But the truth is, I'm short a put option to my kids because they know at any time they can call me up and exercise that option to move back in. And guess what happens? They only exercise it when things have gone wrong. So these are just examples off the top of my head. There's optionality in all of our lives. We are constantly buying and selling options, but we don't always price them. We don't always charge for them, but they are very real. And it's important to understand that derivatives are all around us, and in themselves, they're not bad. We just need to understand the risk and manage the risk. Now, something we saw happen recently here in the UK was in February of this year, 2021, the FCA bans Bitcoin derivatives. You'll see this headline here, and the FCA is our financial conduct authority. They're kind of the equivalent of the SEC, kind of, here. And they decided to ban Bitcoin derivatives. And it said that they were too risky, so the public should not even be out there trading them, all right? And again, this is another hypocrisy in my opinion, because they don't believe that you as a person are able to manage your own money or manage your own risk. And when they see options or derivatives, they think, oh my gosh, these are risky, people can lose all their money, et cetera, et cetera. The truth is if you behave irresponsibly, you can lose all your money doing anything. You know, you can go out there right now and spend all your money on something stupid or give it all away to someone on the streets. But that's not being regulated against. And yet the FCA decided it should ban Bitcoin derivatives. I think this is ridiculous. I think it's an insult. And I think it carries on to the way we've been brainwashed since children or child age that we can't manage our own money. And as a corollary to this, I thought I would entertain this concept for you. So the FCA just banned derivatives on Bitcoin because it's risky and it's gambling. And yet tonight, the last time I checked, England will play Scotland. And I can go right now and bet on the number of corner kicks in the England-Scotland game. And you can see I pulled this up on Betfair. And you can see right now that there's a probability of over 10.5 corner kicks. Someone's willing to pay 3.35 times for that, or to give you that risk for 3.9. And look, there's almost £1,000 available there on the bid side of that market. So clearly the FCA and the government of England thinks it's okay for you to bet on the number of corner kicks in a football game tonight. And you can bet tons of risk. And by the way, the more kicks or the less kicks there are, you actually get multiple variations of that loss. So you don't just lose 100, you might lose 500 or 1,000. Very risky stuff. And yet they ban Bitcoin derivatives. And this is one of the many things that angers me about regulation in crypto. I think it's unacceptable. I think we need to fight back from it. And it just goes to show you they're being very duplicitous. And there's a lot of hypocrisy in the system because they'll allow you to bet on this, but they won't allow you to invest your money here. What I'm calling for is more education across the board. And inside my DeFi Academy, we're going to have our students put on options trades. Of course, it's got to be legal in the country they're in. And we're going to have them experience what it's like to go through that risk management so they can understand these tools. They're all tools that we need to use. And the better you understand them, the better you're going to do. So I hope that helps as a start off here. Leave me your answers right now for the questions. I'm going to go to you right now. Of course, we're giving a lot of love to our Zoom audience here. So if you're in our Zoom room, just give us a wave out here. This is for our in-studio audience. If you want to be invited to our in-studio office in the Zoom room, just go to our mailing list on londonreal.tv and answer these questions for me. How do you rank yourself as a trader from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, and what is your single biggest challenge? 2, do you struggle with poor discipline and get emotional about trading, and how? And I will tell my story. 3rd, have you ever traded crypto or DeFi options, and how was it? And 4th, what questions do you have about DeFi, and would you like to learn from me how to profit from the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history? Some great questions coming in here. We really appreciate all of them. I've got McGeever on Instagram that says, let's go, Brian. You're the man. I appreciate you so much. We've got Millen Marino on Instagram saying, bravo, Brian. I appreciate it. We got Bill Johnson that asks on Zoom, is it too late to apply for the DeFi Academy? If you're watching me live now, it's not too late. If you're watching this later, yeah, it's probably closed by now. So if you're here with me live, go to londonreal.tv/DeFi, DEFI, put your application in. I will read it personally. And if you've got what it takes, if you've got the right stuff, in my opinion, I'll bring you to be a part of my elite team, and we're going to go to the future together. So super excited. And by the way, that was June T that just joined our academy. We hit the gong here. If you become a member of our academy, you might hear the gong ringing. It rings all day here and all night when we bring in incredible people. And so that's what you're going to hear in the background. We've got Kiki Arello on Instagram that says, is this really live? So I guess I just answered your question, Kiki. Great to have you here. We've got Roop Singh on Facebook that says, very nice. We got Kel on Instagram that says, what's the difference between DeFi and cryptocurrency? So great question. And this is something I cover in Module 1 inside the DeFi Academy. By the way, all of my students inside the Academy, if you're watching, Module 1 is live. So please go watch the videos right now on our e-learning platform. There's a workbook to fill out, and I need your deliverables and your videos posted in the group before our live call on Monday. And I go into what's the difference between cryptocurrency and DeFi. You know, DeFi is the entire financial ecosystem. Cryptocurrency is a way of storing value and a way of transferring money. And so the great way to look at it is this. And my good friend Andreas Antonopoulos made this explanation. He said, Brian, you know, back in the 90s, we had email. And we thought email was the internet because back in like 95, that's all you could do on the internet. So we thought, okay, this is kind of neat. I can send an electronic message. The internet is cool. Now, in the mid-90s, we got an internet browser. And as soon as we got that, we realized the internet was more things than just email. It had all of these other possibilities. The same is true between crypto and DeFi. When we saw Bitcoin, we said, wow, this is cool. I can send money here and there. It's peer-to-peer. It's anonymous. It's trustless. That's amazing. We thought that was what all there was. And then we realized, wait a second, when Ethereum came along, there's smart contracts. There's an entire ecosystem full of lending, trading, borrowing, insurance, all of these things. And so DeFi is the entire financial ecosystem. A crypto is just a store of value or a way to transfer value. And the DeFi is so much bigger, and it's happening. The system is building out, and it's going to model everything in centralized finance, where I worked for 15 years. And that's why I understand this so well, because I see this happening in DeFi. A few more questions coming in here. I've got Kathy on Zoom says, I'm in Canada. Do I need to be in London to join the DeFi course? Great question. You don't. We've got people, I think 24 different countries right now inside the DeFi Academy. I think it's across 12 or 14 time zones right now. I've got people in New Zealand. I've got people in Singapore. I got people in California. I got people in Brazil. So we do this all on a digital way. For the past 6 years, I've been teaching people remote. We've got the best academy in the business. We've got the best digital learning system in the business. It's live. I teach live. I personally mentor you to get you through the distance, and it's 4 weeks, and it's intense. And you're going to be challenged to get out of your comfort zone, and you're going to learn at a rapid rate. So that's what happens in there. Submit your application. I look forward to reading it. We got Marco Roldan Echevra on Facebook that says fiat money is trash. And what Marco's talking about is fiat money. This is money that is just backed by the full faith and trust of a government like the US dollar, the euro, the pound, the yen. Back in the day, the dollar was actually backed by gold. So before 1971, before Nixon took us off the gold standard, every dollar could be cashed in for actual gold. These days, It's not. So they can print as much as they want. And a lot of people are very suspicious of fiat currencies, as you should be. I personally do not think we're going to see a fiat currency crash in the next 5 to 10 years, but I do think that the DeFi space is going to change the whole face of finance and give financial freedom back to the people regardless. That being said, you should know that the dollars you hold are not really backed by anything. They are, in a weird sense, a derivative of someone giving you their word that's backed by the full faith and credit and military of the US government. But don't assume for a second that there is any asset behind that. And it's important to understand that, and it'll help you understand crypto as well. So a great question, I appreciate that. I got D577 on Instagram, says, night suit, Brian. Thank you very much, we appreciate it. We try to represent here. And I got Robert Mackerhammer on Instagram that says, I love what you're doing, man. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much too. All right, keep those questions coming. I wanna get into part 2, and this is how to trade crypto options. Now on the screen here, you're gonna see a screenshot I literally took an hour ago. And let's read through it. On the top, it says BTC options expiring 20th of June, 2021. These are Bitcoin options. And if you look kind of midway to the right, it says they expire in 1 day, 22 hours, and 37 minutes. Now, we'll keep this thing up on the screen. You'll see some circles and some blue marks. So where the blue is, you'll see 38,000. That's the strike price of the option. And that's roughly where Bitcoin is trading right now at 38,000. And you can see the green circles, the prices of the call options on the left, the prices of the put options on the right. And this is a great diagram to try to understand the pricing of options. I'm gonna come back to this in just a second. And so again, what is an option? Well, an option is this. It gives you the right or the choice to buy or sell a certain instrument at a certain price at a certain point in time. Let me say that again. A call option or a put option is your right. Again, it's your choice to exercise it. It's your option to exercise it, to buy or sell an instrument at a specific price at a specific time. Now, when you bring in this optionality into it, the choice, the point that you can have a choice to exercise this option or not, the pricing of these things get very complicated. They get very volatile, and it gets very interesting. And this is the basis of what an option is. And shortly, I'm going to go into what a call option is and what a put option is. But let me say a couple things before we get started. First of all, what you pay for that option up front is called a premium. It's what you pay to have that right to exercise that option. So back to my concept of a reservation at Nobu, if I paid £100 to have the option of going there for dinner, that would be the premium. And again, you're gonna lose the premium either way when the expiration date stops. And that's the next thing to talk about. How long is your option? The option I showed you earlier is only 1 day and 22 hours long. It's not long, but if the price of Bitcoin moves a lot, it could be worth a lot of money. I've seen 1 day options. I've seen 1 week's options. I've seen 1 month options, 3 month. I think I've even priced an option out to 10 or 20 years, which you won't see traded on any exchange in the world. This is an important thing to know because usually the longer your option is, the higher the price of the option. And I'll explain why that makes sense. The last thing is the strike price of your option. Where can you buy it and where can you sell it? And I'm gonna go back to the diagram when we talk about that later. First, let me talk about the difference between a call option and a put option. And again, if this is confusing for you, please type yes in the chat right now. It's okay. I remember the first time I understood what a call option and a put option. I remember being there. I was on Massachusetts Avenue. I was right off what we call Lobby 7 at MIT. It was about 1 in the morning, and I was studying with a good buddy of mine. We'll call him Andy. And we were studying for our exams the next day. That's all I did at MIT. I just studied and studied and studied. And I drank some beer on the weekends, and then I studied and studied and studied. And we were on the blackboards, and we were trying to figure out these things called call options and put options. And I'll stick the diagrams on the screen shortly. And we were like, I don't understand. Like a stock, when you buy it, you make money when it goes up. And when you sell it, you make money when it goes down. But what does an option mean? And then I remember we were trying to get it in our heads for like days. I even think weeks. And then one night it clicked and we said, oh, I see. With a call option, if the price of the asset goes up, I'm a big winner. And if it goes down, I don't lose very much. And with a put option, if it goes down, I'm a big winner. And if it doesn't, I don't lose very much. And it clicked. And that was a big moment for me. And I started to really understand these derivatives kind of in my DNA. And it allowed me to trade them and price them and make a lot of money from them. And so again, if it takes you time to understand these, that's okay. And that's why inside the Academy, we have weeks to work with our students to get them to understand these structures. So don't beat yourself up. There's nothing simple about this, but it's also a very simple concept because these have been around for thousands of years. So let me show you a diagram of a call option, and I'm going to try to walk you through this. So this is a call option. It says being long a call, which means you own a call. This is Wall Street jargon. If you own something, you're long it. If you have sold something, you're short it. We can get into all that later. So this is a call option. Now, you can see the stock price at expiration. That really means Bitcoin price at expiration. And you see 40 there, and that's the price of Bitcoin at expiration, 40,000. So you can see we've paid $200 for that option. Can everyone see we're minus 200? So we paid 200. Now, if Bitcoin goes down to 30,000 on that graph, we're still only down $200. So Bitcoin can go to zero, we've only lost $200. But if Bitcoin goes up near 40, near 43, we're breaking even. Up to 50, we're making money. If Bitcoin goes to 1 million, we've just made a lot of money, if you can see that graph. So just coming back to me on screen, that is the payout diagram of a call option. Now, I want to go back to that pricing piece that I grabbed off the screen, because if you look at this pricing piece, we can see something similar. Now, again, I want you to look at the green circle on the bottom left. Now, I've circled that to be the price of a Bitcoin call option at 40,000, and you can see that under the red line just to the right. And if you look at the price of that, the last time that traded was about $188. So this is about the exact same diagram I just showed you. So if you went right now and bought a 2-day call option, you'd spend $188. The strike price is 40,000 Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes above 40,000 in the next 1 day and 22 hours, you make money. And if it goes way up to 100,000, you make a ton of money, and you've only spent $200 on this option. Let me say one more thing. If it goes down to zero, you only lose your initial investment of $188. So again, let's go back to me here on screen. And again, if this is too complicated for you, you can watch this back later. Or of course, I'll be going this in detail in Module 3 inside the DeFi Academy. And of course, this can take time anyways. Let me now talk about a put option, and I'll put this thing on screen. A put option is what you're seeing on screen. And again, this is a little complicated at first, but you'll get used to it. So here you see something opposite. You're like, what's going on here, Brian? If Bitcoin goes to 50,000 here, I don't make any money. I just lose my initial investment of $200. That's weird. But if Bitcoin goes down to 30,000 or 20,000 or goes to zero, look at the profit thing. That arrow's going to Pluto. I'm making a ton of money if Bitcoin goes down and goes down to zero. And that is the put option. I make money when the asset price goes down. A call option means I make money when the asset price goes up. And you can jump back to me here. It's good that you have an initial experience with this. And again, remember, with the options, the most I'm going to lose is my initial investments. And that's what frustrates me about the FCA. They've banned options because they're too risky. But if you know all you're going to lose is your initial investment, well, then you should be educated enough to know, okay, now that doesn't mean it's not a volatile instrument. It's going to go up and down, but that is the most you're going to lose if you buy an option. And so again, let's go back to the price on the screen and we can look at the put options on that same instrument. So again, we'll go back to that screen, and here on the right-hand side, you'll see I circled in green. This was done with my own finger today. And here's a put option struck at 36,000. That's the red line. So again, this is $2,000 below the price of current Bitcoin spot, which is 38,000. And you can see that's trading for about $300, $301. Now, we can go into this further, why that costs more than the call option. But for this thing, if you bought it, you'd spend $300. If the price of Bitcoin went below 36,000, you would be in the money. If it went way below, you would make a lot more money. And if it went above that, the option would expire worthless and you would lose your premium. And so that is my crash course in options for you. Again, I hope that helped. If you're new to this, it still might be swirling around your brain. And I just want to tell you, 21-year-old Brian, I was supposed to be one of the smartest guys, right, in the country. And I was at MIT studying engineering, and it took me weeks to understand this, all right? So again, the more you review it, the more you do it. And inside the academy, we're going to try to trade these things. That's when you really understand it, is when you actually put the position on. These are an important part of any financial infrastructure. They're an important part of anyone's portfolio, as opposed to running away from it and sticking your head in the sand and banning these instruments, which is ridiculous. You should master them.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.